I've been running my web agency for 20 years, and I want to share with you how I've gotten my best clients and where my worst clients have come from. And I think you're going to find it to be really counterintuitive. It certainly was super shocking for me when I had this realization, but by the end of the video, I think you're going to think, that's pretty obvious. What took me so long to figure that out? Well, here's what it is. My best clients have never even seen my website. Isn't that shocking? Because think about how much time you spend in, I gotta get the site to look good, and I gotta blog all the time, and SEO the site and all this other stuff. And my best clients have never even seen the website. So this is one of those situations where the easier approach is actually the most effective one. And I will say this, my worst clients are the ones who have seen my website. Maybe we'll get into a little bit about that in a little bit. But I want to share with you 3 different examples where I've hired somebody without ever having seen their website before. And then we can take that kind of not seeing the website psychology, apply that to web design. I'll give you a 5-step process on how I can apply that, how I've been applying that in my business, so that if you want to give it a shot, I bet you'll get your best clients this way. So here's one of the examples. So I've been seeing a NUCA chiropractor now for like over 20 years. Have you ever even heard of a NUCA chiropractor? N-U-C-C-A? I never even heard of that. I'd never been to a chiropractor, much less a NUCA. And my wife had carpal tunnel syndrome. And one of our friends said, hey, before you do the wrist surgery, why don't you go see Dr. Mike and see what you think? And so we went up to Charlottesville. I'm in basically Williamsburg, Virginia. So we drove all the way to Charlottesville, like 2 hours, saw Dr. Mike, and we've been going to see him now for 20 years. And not just me. So my wife goes, I go, our kids go. I got 5 kids. So like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from our family over 20 years. I've been going over to Dr. Mike, and I don't even know if he has a website. I've never seen his website before. I certainly didn't need to see it in order to sign up. So that's thing number 1. Example number 2, I've got my Cellerciser out again. I've been exercising on a Cellerciser for like 30 years, but you'll never believe how I got started on this thing. So in high school, I was really into track and field, and I was doing the high jump, and I'd gotten to the point where I could clear 6 feet and 2 inches. And I'm only 5'10", so like this was like 4 inches over my head. I was like super proud of myself, to jump a bar that was higher than my head. But I had practiced so much that my left ankle was beginning to get like stress fractures. Because like when you run up to do the high jump, you like slam your left foot down on the ground and throw your right leg up and try to make it over these bars and everything. And I'd practiced so much that my left ankle was like freaking out on me. And so like I couldn't run, I couldn't exercise. And I was worried that I was gonna like lose all of my conditioning and everything while I was waiting for my ankle to heal. But my uncle, who was a physics professor in Ohio, he drives down from Ohio to the Outer Banks in North Carolina to go windsurfing. And I'm in Virginia, so he kind of passes through our neck of the woods on his way down to North Carolina. And so he stops off like every summer to hang out with me. In this one particular summer, I was telling him about the high jumping and my ankle bothering me. And he says, have you ever seen a Cellerciser before? And of course, no. Who's ever seen a Cellerciser? And it's a mini trampoline that you exercise on. And it's the most efficient form of exercise ever devised by man, according to NASA studies. Like it burns more calories than walking and more than jogging. You don't get the impact. You can still build muscle mass. It's I don't fully understand the whole VO2 max thing, but apparently you can get more cardiovascular fitness without feeling the strain. So it's such an amazing form of exercise. I had never heard of it before. My Uncle Whit's telling me about it because basically since it's got all these springs and you're jumping on a trampoline, you can exercise on it without all the impact on your ankle. So that way you don't lose your stamina while you're waiting for your ankle to get better, right? And so I was sold on it without ever having gone to see the website. Let me give you this third one. I'll show you this. This is a cordless jump rope. Have you ever seen one of these? It's got 2 handles. So I got 2 of these things. A cordless jump rope? Who in the world has ever heard of a cordless jump rope, and why would I ever want to buy one? Well, I fell off a little like platform. This is, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. And when I caught myself, I kind of tore up my shoulder. And it got to the point where I thought I was going to have surgery. I didn't want to have the surgery. And so the doctor said, well, you can just try some physical therapy, some rehab. And he started telling me about this cordless jump rope, where basically there's some exercise you can do to spin the rope around and everything. And just give it a shot for a few months and see if it works. and it worked great. But I bought this thing without ever having got to see the website. Well, I bought it on the website, but I was ready to buy it without ever having seen the website and without even thinking about it. Like, I wasn't thinking, where can you go find some good cordless jump ropes? Does anybody know a good cordless jump rope vendor? See what I mean? And like, I love these products. I'm like an evangelist for all of these things. I think you should see a Nuka. I definitely think you should buy a Cellerciser if you care about your fitness and want to kind of biohack your life and, you know, get the fastest fitness with the least amount of time and effort involved. And if you ever hurt your shoulder, get a cordless jump rope, right? So those are examples where I'm like a really good client for all of those businesses, and it had nothing to do with their website. And so what is the thing? Like, what's the main thing that's happening there? The main thing is I want the result of whatever's going on with the product, right? I don't want the implementation. I don't want the service. I'm only interested in the result. And I might not even be aware that there is a solution to the problem that I had. Like, I didn't know a Cellerciser existed. I didn't know a cordless jump rope was a thing. I'd never heard of a Nuka chiropractor. So these are all examples where I wasn't even thinking about hiring anyone who could, I didn't even know they even existed. And suddenly there's like this solution to a big thing, a big problem in my life. And now I'm an awesome client. So how can we take that same psychology and apply it to web design? I got a 5-step process to do this. And the first one is, I really think it's important to figure out who you're trying to help. And a lot of times you might refer to that as your niche or your target audience, but I don't think you can really do this on like a broad, like I serve everybody kind of mindset behind web design. And so I would say, pick a niche. Even if the niche it feels a little broad, like local service businesses, that's my favorite niche. And you might think, well, local service business, how is that even a niche? Well, it is because like you can have the same marketing plan for like an electrician as you would for a plumber, as you would for a pest control business or a lawn care business. Like, there's so many different types of businesses where the same marketing strategy applies, even though they're in different industries. But I'm excluding a lot of different types of businesses. Like, for example, I'm not working with nonprofit businesses or online only businesses or e-commerce businesses. I'm just working with local businesses that want clients from within easy driving distance of their location. They have in-person interactions with those clients. And I can apply the same marketing strategy to those businesses, and that's my niche. In fact, if you want to see how I'm getting the leads for these, I'm going to put a link up in the corner in just a minute for our local legends training. And so that's a free workshop that you can see that goes into a lot of details on how we're making this connection. But that's the focus. It's like local service businesses. So that's step one. Step two is, what problem am I going to solve for my audience? And so if you're picking local service businesses and you want to solve a problem, well, I'm trying to solve the problem of lead generation for local service businesses. But that's not the only problem that you could solve. I think that's probably the best one. I think that's the one that most people feel the most stress around, like when you get more clients or customers or leads. But you could also say, solve the problem of like online booking, or a lot of local businesses, they don't even answer the phone. They're so busy doing other things that when calls come in, a lot of times they can't even answer the calls. So you could solve the problem of getting the calls answered with AI, for example. Or if not AI answering, at least you could do like missed call text back or something. Like, you just have some solution that solves a problem for somebody. But the third step is to build the solution before you go to get the lead. So step one is the audience. Step two is figuring out what the problem is that you're going to solve for the audience. Step three is actually building the solution for solving that problem. And this is what I refer to as a solution first agency. And so, for example, in DoubleStack, we've got an entire, it's like 11 or 12 step process for how we build our local marketing solution. But we have the solution first so that when we go out and talk to people, we can recognize the symptoms that people have. Like we were just talking about with the carpal tunnel with the Nuka, or my hurt ankle with the Cellerciser, or my hurt shoulder with the cordless jump rope. Like, do you see what the connection is? That I had a problem, and the products and services that I purchased solved the problem without me even knowing that I was trying to connect with that type of service provider. And that's what's happened for me with web design. Like, when I go out and talk to people and tell them that I know how to solve a lead generation problem for local service businesses, most of my clients, if I had gone up to them and I'd said, hey, do you want a better website? They were like, no, I don't even want the website I already got. It doesn't do anything for me. Or I just rebuilt my website a few months ago. It's fine. Like if you go in saying, do you want a website? They tell you no. Like, they're not even thinking about the website. But if you can go in thinking about the problem and then offering the solution to the problem, and then okay, we're gonna have to make a few updates to the website in order to implement the solution. Everybody seems to be super receptive to that, and my best clients have come from that. And my worst clients have come from people finding my website, Googling me, finding me as a WordPress plugin developer and asking me to do some custom thing, and they're just telling me what to do, and I feel like I'm just their employee or something like that. They're like my worst clients. So a lot of times I'll refer, this is kind of stupid, but a lot of times I think about like marketing for web design or marketing in general, sort of like dating. Like if you just walk up to somebody and you're like, hey, you want to make out or whatever. If they said yes, you probably don't want to make out with them or whatever, right? Like that's kind of an awkward thing. And you want to develop the relationship first. And the people that are like eager to jump in right on the get-go are usually the people that you probably don't want to have these long-term relationships with, right? So I know that's a really crazy analogy, but I think it applies. Where in the context of this web design, once you have the solution first, now we get up to step 4. Like, how do you actually connect with the businesses? And almost all of the time, it's been like face-to-face connections or getting introduced through networking groups and things like that, where I'm like in the presence of these other people, listening to the problems that they're having. And there's other ways that we've been, like in DoubleStack, one of the things that we've been starting to do are these things called local spotlights, where we reach out to other clients or other local businesses, they're not clients yet, and then offer to spotlight their business on some of our own marketing channels so that they can get trust and visibility just from the work that we are doing. And we just offer to do that for free. So we have this like, the 5th step is to offer this like a small step of the overall solution, whatever like a first small step might be, offer that for free. And we're doing these local spotlights. Other people in DoubleStack are offering this Google review app. I even have a YouTube video about how to build the Google review app. So there's all these different little things that you can give to people for free. And that kind of brings people in and say, oh yeah, that's actually a problem that I'm having. I'd love to get more visibility. I'd love to build trust with the community. I'd love to get more connected with people. I'd love to get more reviews. Like those are things that are actually on people's minds. They connect with you, and then that opens the door to being able to share all of this other really cool stuff that you're doing. So then the next question comes, well, I would like some more details about how do I actually like get my foot in the door? You know what I mean? Like how do I actually like connect in with people? And if I were to go to a networking event, what would I even say if I went there? So I put this next video together with like a 10-second tip. Like if you go to a networking group and they give you 10 seconds to talk, just say this stuff. And I think it'll really turn the tables on how effective you are at collecting leads and clients from any time you get to talk about yourself or your business, especially at a networking event. So check that out. Or if you want to see how we're doing the local legend stuff and getting leads from local businesses, check that one out. I'll see you in just a minute.